I think, of course, Chomsky, they're going to defend. He's going to defend what they're doing, but it seems like it's you kind of wonder if they're almost going down the wrong road. Because the neuroscience has been, linguistics. There hasn't been a whole lot of advances, except to disprove a lot of what was when we were in school. Was that's why it was the hardest major. Linguistics was. It was impossible to understand, and
I'd never even.
As it turns out, a lot of it was bogus. It was based on it was bad science. So
I've never even been given much opportunity to be exposed to it.
Well,
really, even in Harvard, it was just to get into it.
Yeah. Well, as it turns out, from what he was saying, it was all based on behaviorism, and it was all wrong. Because they were saying basically that it was all learned. It was all experiential, so it was all basically mimicry. And what was he saying? He was saying that even before a baby is born, they can detect the language of the mother. I don't know how you're going to determine before a baby is born. You're going to determine that. But like if the mother is, there are different languages. The baby knows the mother's language. I don't know how,
Well, I'm sure it picks up on the sound and the notes. But,
yeah.
So it will know that it's, for instance, if the mother is a Spanish speaker, it will know, and it will know that English, that the Spanish is the mother's language and not English if it's exposed to both.
What do you think about the talk about a lot of languages going extinct? Is that
they've always gone extinct? Yeah, I think it. Basically, my view is no. They're gone. They're gone. If nobody's speaking them, well, nobody's speaking them.
Is there a possibility of some concepts that might have been valuable to be saved?
There's always a possibility, but that would be culture probably as opposed to linguistic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think.
Well, but you don't think there's a connection between language and thoughts? I mean,
oh yeah,
you can't express.
Well, yeah, but what Chomsky was saying is that it's all innate, and it's basically the program is innate, and so the implication is that thought is it's hard to separate language and thought. First off,
right.
Yeah.
But that's innate, and so if he's in fact right, then it doesn't matter if a language actually goes extinct because you're not going to lose anything because other languages will express the same thing. Mm-hmm. In other words, it won't be. That's not to say that there's something cultural in it that might be missed. But in terms of the ability to express, and then there's always an idea that somebody's had 2,000 years ago that's gone. Lots of ideas disappear, but it's the same thing as English. You look at how English has evolved over a period of 1,000 years. Does it really matter that nobody speaks Old English anymore? Or Spanish was that way too. There was an old Spanish.
There have been people I've seen on Jeopardy that trained themselves to speak learn Old English.
And the other thing was it was big. Greek and Latin were big, the dead languages, but now they're almost extinct too. I mean, nobody's studying those much anymore. And if you think about it, doesn't it make more sense to learn a language?
Well, I don't think the legal profession is going to make Latin ever go extinct, or let Latin ever go completely extinct.
Well, nobody's studying. In other words, you don't see Latin taught in high schools anymore. Whereas when I was way back, there were high schools that still taught Latin. Yeah,
I remember it was an option.
Mm-hmm.
But, I didn't take it.
No, it makes why learn a dead language? I mean, just fundamentally, it doesn't make sense. I mean, it's like why take French when you can, if you live in Texas, who's going to speak French in Austin? Virtually nobody. Virtually nobody.
Yeah, but there are always those borrowed highfalutin words, you know.
Well, that doesn't make you know. But does that justify learning a language that nobody speaks? You know, I don't think so. Because you're never exposed to it. I mean, in Austin, you can go anywhere and you hear Spanish, pretty much. It's everywhere. You know, where do you go in Austin to hear French? Maybe in a French restaurant, but that's it.
Yeah, they don't have very many of those.
No.
I think there was one and it went under.